This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this next Harts webinar. It's Thursday, the 20th of January, and New Year seems a long while ago already. Hopefully you're getting back into it. And now we've got COVID restrictions being lifted. Hopefully that will make life a little bit easier for everybody as well. As always, we like to have these sessions as interactive as possible. So if you want to unmute yourself and shout out some questions or shout out your own experiences, that will be great, because it all adds to the education for us all. And today we're going to be looking at pricing psychology. But first of all, we have to read out our usual disclaimer, which is the following presentation is produced for general guidance only, and professional advice should always be sought before any transaction is undertaken. Individual circumstances can vary, and therefore no responsibility can be accepted by Harts Limited or any of its affiliates for any action taken or any decision made to refrain from action by attendees of this presentation. As always, you've got the chat box, which you'll see as a speech bubble on the top of your screen. If you want to chuck any questions in there, feel free to do so. As you've heard, this session is being recorded and will appear on our YouTube channel later on. And if you've missed any previous webinars, then you can just go to our YouTube channel, search for Harts Limited if you've not subscribed, and you'll be able to catch up on anything that you've missed. We would be delighted if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel, because then you'll be notified of any new videos which come up there. And we are looking at doing a few more in the next month or two, so hopefully watch out for those. As always, we normally start off with a quick government update just to keep you informed. You might have been getting our emails, you may not. We noticed a lot of them are getting into people's junk mail for some reason, which we're looking at. But just a quick update. Basically, we talked about this last time. Businesses in the hospitality and leisure sectors in England will be eligible for one-off grants of up to £6,000 per premises, plus more than 100 million of discretionary funding will be made available for local authorities. If you want to get hold of that discretionary funding, all you need to do is get in touch with your local authority, and they will probably have something on their website about it as well. So if you want to do that, that's the way you'll be able to get hold of that sort of money. The government will also cover the cost of statutory sick pay for COVID-related absences for small and medium-sized employers across the UK. And actually the scheme opens just yesterday. So if you want to access that funding for COVID-related sick pay and you want to reclaim some money, then you're now available to do so. If we're looking after your payroll, obviously we'll be doing that under your instruction as well. If you're struggling to pay your self-assessment income tax, there is an online facility if you can't pay your tax bill by the end of this month, which is only in about 11 days' time. If you've got a liability of less than £30,000, you can just go online and make an arrangement to pay over 12 months. You don't have to speak to HMRC if you can ever get through to them in the first place, and you don't have to go through the severe questioning that they give you to be able to have time to pay arrangement. So if you're struggling to pay, you can go online and you can fill in the forms and spread your liability over the next 12 months. Don't forget, we've got a national insurance rise of 1.25% coming in from the 6th of April 22. That's as it is at the moment. I know there's been a lot of activity about this in the press with the cost of living squeeze. Are they going to go ahead with it? My guess is yes, they will. I can't see them backing down on this, but I could well be wrong. I'm not in government. And the tax return deadline is still the 31st of January. There's no penalty though if you submit by 28th of February. Now they've changed the rules that it doesn't mean the filing deadline has now moved to 28th of February. It's still 31st of January. They've just given you another month to submit before you actually have a penalty. But, and you can see why I put this in a big italics, it's a big but. And the reason why is that you will still be charged interest if you don't pay your tax bill by the 31st of January, even though you may not submit your tax return by the 28th of February. So to be able to know how much to pay, you've still got to work it out and submit by 31st of January. So that's another reason why it's a help, but not that much of a help. The other reason is it actually, they'll treat your tax return as late if it's submitted after 31st of January. That means that they extend the inquiry window into your return, the potential inquiry window into your return. So again, it's made headlines, but in reality, is it much of a help? From our point of view, not really. We're aiming to get everything done by 31st of January still, and we recommend that you do the same. Child benefit. There's been a lot of talk in the press about how some families are being hit with child benefit charges. If you're earning over £50,000, then if one of you in a couple are earning over £50,000, then the child benefit you receive is reclaimable by the HMRC. If it's over £60,000, then it's fully repayable. Now, with independent taxation of husband and wife, one party might not know what the other one is earning. And HMRC are trying to change the rules to say, well, we can actually go back 6 years here as careless behaviour. And there is actually a test case going on at the moment to see whether that will work or not. So watch this space on that. But if either of you are earning more than £50,000, then potentially you need to repay any child benefit you've had. And we need to look back at previous years as well to see if that might affect you. If you come to HMRC first without them coming to you, the penalties will be a lot lower. It's a crazy rule on the basis that if two of you are earning £49,000, you still get child benefit. If one of you is earning £60,000, you get none. It's a daft rule and shouldn't have been brought in the first place, but we have to live with it. JRS payments, job retention scheme payments, HMRC are also on the attack for that as well. So if you have incorrectly claimed job retention scheme monies, HMRC are going to be looking at you. So just to be aware of that, you might want to review any job retention scheme monies that you've actually received and just check that you were entitled to them. Please get in touch if you've got any further details and need any further details, any of the above, and certainly we'll be able to help you. So that's enough of the government updates. What I want to do as well is let's have a look at our online resources. You can follow us on LinkedIn at Harts Limited, subscribe to us on YouTube at Harts Limited, and follow us on Twitter at Harts Accountants. And with the next webinars and events, on the 3rd of February, we've got top Excel tips. We're going to help you to work smarter using Excel. We have a guest speaker who's an absolute expert on using Excel, and he'll show you some top tips which will save you a whole load of time. On the 17th of February, we're going to be looking at how to prepare a business for sale, and Chris Bentley is going to be doing that along with myself. On the 3rd of March, all you need to know about company cars and the electric car revolution. One of the most common questions we're asked is, should I buy a car and should I put it through the company? Or should I own it myself? We'll go through all the scenarios and show you the effects of all of it and the significant tax benefits of having an electric car. On the 17th of March, we're looking at networking and how to network better. We get a guest speaker for that one as well, called Sarah White, who is the founder of Network In, which is an online and face-to-face networking group around the country. 31st of March, question time event. This proved very popular last time. We're holding the next one at Macclesfield Rugby Club. So that's a date for your diary. We're hoping to have some fantastic panelists again this time. So make a note, that'll be held from 5 till 7 p.m. And we'll send you more details nearer the time. And in April, we're just holding one webinar due to Easter. And we'll be looking at how to best retain staff. And we'll be
we ducked out of it.
We'll be looking at how to best to retain staff. So we have a guest speaker from a recruitment agency who'll be talking to us about that. So please book on via the events page on our website. Okay, enough of that. Pricing psychology. Modern day pricing is much more than a numbers game. And when you think about it correctly, it is a powerful way to build your brand and to drive more profits. And psychological pricing is the practice of using the power of psychology to push consumers to spend more money. It's a joint effort between pricing, marketing, and sales, and to build an attractive offer that captures customers' attention and makes a product so desirable that the customer and the shopper can't wait to buy it. It's also a way of tricks of the trade to get you to buy more, to spend more, and to spend more often. And it's those three are the key drivers of how to increase your business profits. You might have touched on this on previous webinars. So you want to get them to buy more, to spend more, and to spend more often. Some of you may well have heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We need to go a little bit about behind the theory here, behind it. Abraham Maslow was an American psychologist who died back in 1970, and he first created this in 1943, and it's still used today as the basis for pricing. And he described human needs as ordered in a hierarchy. A pressing need will be satisfied by someone who give their attention to the next highest need. So at the very basic level, we're talking of your physiological needs for air, water, food, shelter, sleep, and clothing, and so on. And as you fulfill that psychological need, you move up to this next need. You don't need to fulfill all of these, you fulfill most of them. So once you fulfill those needs, you then go on to your safety needs, which is maybe personal security, employment, your resources, health, and owning some property. And once you fulfill that, you move up to the love and belonging section, and up until you actually you're trying to achieve the top level, which is self-actualization, to desire to become the most that you can actually be. So why does this come into pricing psychology? Well, it's all about knowing where your customers are, where your potential shoppers are, and what they're going to buy from you, and at what level in that hierarchy they are. So today we'll have a look at some luxury pricing, which may well cover the top two levels where people have already got some friendship, intimacy, and they're already in the esteem section. And we'll look at the lower levels as well. So effectively, you're having to determine the level of which you're selling to your customers. It determines your pricing strategy. And it also determines what drives people and not just customers. And you just have to have a bit of an understanding of it. I'm going to go through loads of examples, and no doubt you'll recognize many of the examples, but I'll try to give you an understanding of why these actually work. So what are the advantages of psychological pricing? Well, if you dive into it, you're going to have to do a fair bit of research. So you're going to understand how your competitors are doing it and what your competitors are doing. You're also going to be fairly proactive in what you're doing. Rather than just sticking a price on a product, you can say, well, let's actually delve into how we should be pricing this product. And then you also want to consider the public perception of your products. On the downside of it, it can be quite time consuming to actually do all this sort of work, but it will pay off at the end of the day. So let's have a look and go through a number of examples. For instance, if prices are too similar, they can actually cost you sales, and too many choices can be demotivating. In one experiment, researchers gave users a choice of buying a pack of gum or keeping the money. When given a choice between 2 packs of gum, only 46% made a purchase when both were priced at 63 cents. Obviously, this was an American piece of research. Conversely, when the packs of gum were differently priced at 62 cents and 64 cents, more than 77% of consumers chose to buy a pack. That's quite an increase over the first group. So as you can see, if we price differentiate, whichever way it is, potentially you're going to generate more sales. And effectively what we're saying is don't price exactly the same as what everybody else is doing. Make yourself different. This is an easy one, a font size. Your brain confuses visual size for numerical size. So if the price is large, as in the large font of £29.55, it thinks that it's more expensive than a smaller font of £29.55. Crazy, but it's actually true. Research has shown that to be the case. So if something looks big and feels big, the price potentially must be high. Power of 9. Again, we're going back to a research which showed a study compared women's clothing priced at $35 versus $39. and found that the prices ending in 9 outperformed the lower prices by an average of 24%. And in sale prices, where we say was $60, now only 45, we're able to beat out the number 9. But when the number 9 was included with the slash sales prices, again outperformed lower price points. So, for example, was £60 now only £45 or dollars, and was $60 and now only $49, the sale price ending in a 9 outsold the one ending in a 5, even though it was more expensive. That's why we see a lot of stuff ending in a 9. It's the power of 9. It's an old trick, but people are still using it. I'm sure when we've all gone shopping, we've all blown our budgets. I'm not the only one who's done that, because we're being pressed to buy stuff, and all these tricks are coming in to help you and to make you buy more. Again, we talked about perception when we were looking at psychology as well, the theory behind it. You can have different prices for exactly the same item. So why does a beer cost more from a hotel than a bar? It's in a context and perception. You may well be in a very nice swanky hotel where the price of a pint of beer might be £6, where you go to a bar, it's £4. At the end of the day, the beer is the same, the glass is the same, the person pouring it out is the same. Why are we paying more for exactly the same item? And it's the whole perception and the surroundings of which you're paying for it. But at the end of the day, the product itself costs exactly the same. You'll end up paying more from it. So it's all about context and putting your price in context as well. Look at removing the commas in your pricing. The written length is shorter, but more importantly, phonetic size is also shorter. So we have the first tag at 1,000 with the comma, £499.99. Again, I'm using my 9s. Or we take the comma out of £14.99.99, or we get rid of the pence and just have it £14.99. It's been proven that if you show the price just at the £14.99 without any commas, without any pence, people perceive it as being cheaper. And you can even remove the pound sign as well. And it'll, again, people think that it's actually cheaper. A lot of the time here, we're talking about marginal gains. How can we get the actual most out of the pricing? We're not going to take huge differences from it, but it's all marginal gains that we're actually getting out of it. And these are all tricks of the trade which you can use. You could divide your product into smaller units, so reduce the primary price as much as possible. So here, rather than having a price of £11.99, why not make it £9.99 plus £2 postage and packing? People will see the 9 and think, oh, that's cheaper. People forget about the £2 postage and packing. So they see it as a £9.99 price rather than an £11.99 price. So split prices generally work better than single higher prices. So again, see if you can use that trick in what you're doing. We've touched on this a little bit earlier, but consider prices with fewer syllables. Intriguingly, £28.16 feels numerically smaller because of the smaller phonetic size. You're not saying the price out loud, but your brain encodes the phonetic version regardless. So if you're pricing at something for £28.16 as opposed to £27.82, people will think that that's cheaper and therefore will go for that price, or they'll encourage them to buy. Crazy, but research back in 1992 actually showed this as well. And again, it's marginal gains when we're dealing with this. Everyone's seen this one. We've all seen it. Why is everything £5.99 when it's £6, or £7.99 when it could be £8? It's because your brain sees the 6 before the 5 and automatically thinks that the 6 is more expensive, when in reality the price is just a penny cheaper. So your brain is latching onto the 6, sees it first, and therefore will make it think it's more expensive. That's why we have prices shown as £5.99 rather than the 6. Price your product if you can. If you're in this business, price it in instalments. Don't show your headline price, but break it down into smaller units. Now, we've all seen this with subscription services. So you might You might subscribe to Virgin. I know my Virgin, for whatever reason, is £130 odd a month or whatever. I think we've probably got everything that's available going there. I won't know. I don't want to work out 12 times 130. The price will probably shock me. But if I'm only paying £130 a month, then it's a lot. It seems a lot cheaper. So try and break your price down. Broadband customers do this. We as accountants do this now as well. We're looking to get people to pay by monthly instalments, and so we can pay. It seems cheaper, and also it breaks it down into a monthly amount. It seems to make the price more manageable. As a byproduct of this, having customers on a subscription service may even increase the value of your business as well. Why? Because how often do you actually review your direct debits and your standing orders? Often most people don't review them. They just let the monthly payment keep going on and on and on. And because you've got people subscribing to you on a monthly basis, then it tends to mean that the value of your business grows because you've got people who are locked into you. So that's another added advantage of showing your price in instalments and getting people to pay on a subscription basis if they can. This is an odd one. We men apparently are susceptible to the colour red. So if you're selling to the male half of the population, you want to show your price in red. And the reason behind it is men associate red with savings. So therefore we think, right, £59, that must be a cheap price because it's in red. We associate it with the savings price rather than showing it in any other colour. Might not apply to all of us. Hopefully some of us will rise above that, but a lot of us no doubt will succumb to it. So if you are pricing in red, it will actually help you increase your sales. The price is exactly the same. Anchoring your price is a very common way of pushing your price as well. So where you're showing something else which is more expensive first and you're anchoring your price against it, it shows that your price is a lot cheaper. So for argument's sake, we sell our registered office service for £140 a year. We go to mailboxes, etc. They might be charging £300 a year. So at the end of the day, we can show it. We have a leaflet. We can say, well, mailboxes are showing it at this price. We're showing it at that. You've probably seen a lot of these examples on TV and not actually realise what it's all about. But Aldi and Lidl, or Aldi prices are showing, right, we will match Tesco's price, or we're cheaper than Tesco's, or Tesco's are trying to match the Aldi's price because Aldi are always known to be cheaper. And they're saying this, and again, they show a shopping basket. If you spent it at Tesco's, it will be this price, or Sainsbury's, or any of the big supermarkets. If it was Aldi, it will be another price. And all they're doing is they're anchoring their price and saying, look, you can get all the same stuff from us, but cheaper. And they're saying, right, that's an attractive way of us pushing our products. They're not actually pushing any products. They're actually pushing the fact that our prices are always cheaper. So it's again a way of, if you anchor your price against something more expensive, then it makes your price feel much more attractive. Buy one, get one free, as BOGOF, as we call it. It sounds cheaper than 50% off, doesn't it? We don't see that many 50% off deals at the moment, and it's because people go down, buy one, get one free. You think you're getting something for nothing, whereas if you're just 50% off, you think, well, I've still got to pay for it. So it goes on the psychology of having something for nothing. So that's why we see the demise of a lot of 50% offers, or 50% off offers, but the price overall is set high enough anyway, so you get one free. If you want to shift stock, people are going to buy two of them, aren't they? If you're going to buy one, you may as well have the other one. Yes, it contributes to waste. That's another whole issue. But if we want to shift stock to our customers, then you're going to shift two of every one that you normally sell, two for every one that you might sell on a 50% off deal. So it's another way of getting rid of stock, encouraging people to buy, and again, it's another marginal way of increasing our sales. Again, marginal gains. Let's get something for nothing, and that's what it's playing on people's minds. Again, if we're showing a menu of pricing, this might be a menu in a bar for argument's sake. we should show it from high to low rather than low to high. And again, it's kind of using an anchoring system as well. Research was done with this, and the price list on the left had a lower average sale price from the average sale price on the right. Drinks were exactly the same. It's just a question of how we're showing it. So if we go to the high to low table, we're starting with something which is at £10. So people say, well, I might not want something at £10, but I'll have something at £7. Whereas you're looking at something at low, you're anchoring your price to a low figure and having to go up, rather than anchoring your price from a high figure and going lower. And it's shown to produce an extra sizable percentage in a sale price for your products. So if you can do that, and you do have the opportunity to be able to do that, then it's another way of potentially increasing your sales and increasing your price. Use explanations to make your price look cheaper. So what we're saying is we're emphasizing the obvious, we're emphasizing the reduction, or they're emphasizing the cheapness of it. So for just £24.99, or for only £24.99, or for a small cost of £24.99, using words and adjectives like that will help you push your sale through, because you're saying, oh, actually it's a lot cheaper at the moment. Try this when you next go into your supermarket. This is just how they work it. Just as an interesting one here, just sort of throw this one in. In supermarkets, you often find the most expensive item on the top shelf, and the mid-priced items, the most profitable items, are at eye level. The cheapest items, you go in and have a look next time you're there, the cheapest items invariably are on the bottom level. Why? Because you've got to have an effort to go down and get them. You've got to bend down to inspect the price, you've got to bend down to retrieve the item, you might have to move your trolley out of the way. So subconsciously, we're making it, the supermarkets are making it easier to buy the more expensive item rather than the cheapest item. So next time you're in the supermarket, have a look, check it out, because it does actually happen. But you'll probably find that because they're the lowest price items, they'll have the smallest margins on them. Yes, they're making them available, but in reality, they want you to buy the stuff that's eye level. And again, giving a false sense of urgency into a sale will also have an effect of pushing your sales. So for instance, you can say, well, we've got very limited stock, or there's only 3 seats left at this price. I don't know if everyone's ever booking flights, and often that narrative comes up. Or if you ever goes on to booking.com, they might say we've only got 1 room or 2 rooms available at this price. It's giving that sense of urgency to say buy now, otherwise you're going to miss out. Or it could be the discount ends today, or last day of the sales price. It's all designed to push you into a sale and create that sense of urgency, which will override careful planning. So you might be going into the sales and think, I've got to have this today, but in reality, you could probably leave it and just plan in to get better deals maybe later on. So just watch that false sense of urgency that retailers or people are giving you, but use it if you're looking to sell. Use that false sense of urgency to push your customers into buying sooner rather than later. Maximise the perceived discount. So 20% off a £50 price tag sounds a lot greater than £10 off. Why? Because we're latching on to the 20 rather than the 10. 20 is a bigger number than 10, so therefore the discount seems bigger. So again, bear that in mind. 20% off a £50 price tag does seem more than just giving £10 off. People have got to work out the 20%, and they latch on to the bigger number, so you're actually maximising the perceived discount. Restaurant owners, again, if we're looking to anchor our price and get people to buy more, have an item on your menu which may be at, say, £50. Diners therefore are more likely to pay £30 for a different item on the menu, as it seems reasonable in comparison. Again, it's a form of price anchoring. So have some expensive items on there and have some lower priced items on there as well, and have some mid-range stuff. Again, because we're saying, well, we're doing this at this price, people are going to say, oh, I'm not paying that, but I will pay this for a price. It's why people, if you sometimes go to a restaurant as well, they use it the other way around, say, well, I don't want to buy the cheapest bottle of wine that's on the wine list. I'll go for something that's mid-range. I don't want it to be seen to be a skin flume. So again, it's using price anchoring maybe in a slightly different way, but use it to your advantage. Other methods used to sell. Use emotional language. You'll love our product, or our product is 100% organic. We associate organic with expensive, so there's an opportunity there to increase the price. Music. Use music. Calm and slow music encourages people to spend more time in a store, whereas faster music speeds up heart rate and moves people out quicker. Mind you, I'm not so sure about that. I've been known to go into one of the major supermarkets and ask them to turn the music down because you can't hear yourself think, but that's just me. Restaurants sometimes use this tactic though to create more throughput. So if you've got fast music going on and I think, right, we're going to eat faster, we get through quicker, or we'll get out quicker, and therefore they can have more people to use that table. So you can use music to sell. And sometimes bright and colourful entrances, using fresh produce to improve your mood when you enter a shop can encourage greater spending as well. I'm sure the supermarket, some of the department stores, if there are any of them left, department stores use the shop windows to sell their products as well. They used to have these fantastic shop windows. It's all designed to improve your mood and to say, well, look, I'd love to be able to go into that shop and have a look around. That's one way of looking at it. Let's have a look at the other end of the luxury pricing market. If we go back to our original Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where we want to fulfill, we're now looking at maybe selling to the top part of the pyramid. So for instance, why does anybody buy a Rolex for maybe £100,000 or even £50,000? What makes a Rolex different from a watch you can buy in a local shop for a tenner? It still tells the time, it's still as accurate, it's got the same materials in there, and your cheaper one might have more facilities on it, more gadgets on it. At the end of the day, what's the difference? Even if you buy a £100 watch and a £50,000 watch, what's the difference in the quality of the materials? They might use slightly better materials, but is it that much more different? Surely not. So what people are buying on is they're buying on emotion and the message that they're giving out. And this is where the marketing side is coming in. So with luxury pricing, consumers are buying on exclusivity. You want to be an elite member of this group that owns a Rolex. They're selling this status and this wealth, and they'll persuade you that you're only going to get the best quality materials. But would you even ever know if you're actually getting? You're relying on their marketing. So they're selling this heritage and this reputation, and you believe you're getting a top-class product. Effectively, you're just buying a name. In reality, it's a watch. It tells the time, it might have an alarm on it, it's got the same quality, and it's made by using the same materials, and it's made by a watchmaker. At the end of the day, yes, it might cost a little bit more than a basic watch, but is it really worth everything else that's in there? All of it is intangible, and they're creating this aura around buying and owning a product that's all down to marketing. Look at where Rolex market. They market at F1, Formula One, and people associated with Formula One are kind of the more wealthy people who are you only see them in the pit lanes and in the garages, and it's an invitation to go to a Formula, and it's all this aura about creating something over a watch. But you can take that down to other areas of society as well. So for instance, if I could be offered an Armani suit, might be £1,000. What's the difference between that and a Marks and Spencer suit for £200? It's the same material, it looks as a suit, it does the same thing, it might have a slightly better cut. I'm paying for a name, I'm paying for the fact that Armani is a name that's out there. So switch that on its head. Can you do something the same? Have you got something which you can sell on exclusivity? Is this an opportunity for you to premium price a product? Have you created an aura about your product and what you're actually doing? Do you have a top-notch quality product that you can sell? and therefore create the marketing and exclusivity around that product to be able to sell to people at the top end of that pyramid. Have a think about that and see how that may well tie in. And the main thing with luxury pricing in this case is customers are not entitled to, or not interested in getting a bargain. They want to pay the price. They want the status that the brand provides, and will probably even ignore a discounted price. Much the same you can look at if you're going to buy a Porsche in a Porsche garage. You won't get a discount. Just try getting one. It won't happen on a new Porsche. The price is the price. That's it. That's what you pay. And they're creating this aura about this luxury model, this luxury car. That's what you end up paying. And a final slide really is in relation to, I had the great fortune to go to Bicester Village not so long ago, which is just down south. It's a designer shopping outlet, and everything in there is designer. And the biggest queues were always at the biggest names. Why? Because they're creating this aura. So we have Prada, and you had some of the other big names that were out there, Chanel, and all the usual top-end stores. People were queuing outside. But not only that, people were so interested in going, they even introduced digital queuing. You had to give the guy on the door a time when you wanted to come in. And that's the effect of creating this aura. You can't come into our shop until we give you the time to actually do it. So that stuff is actually going on as we speak. So I hope that's given you a great insight into, or a beginning of an insight into how pricing psychology can work for you and for your business, and how you're being exposed to this probably every day of your life. Every time you go out shopping anywhere, or every time you look at an advert on TV, they're using this pricing psychology on you all the time. You're subject to it all the time, to a greater and to a lesser degree. Again, our Harts resources are there. And any questions and answers? I've got one question here. Thanks a lot for the webinar. Would the slides recording be shared later on to attendees? Well, it will go up on our YouTube channel, so just log on to our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and search for Harts Limited, you'll be able to view the recording there, and all the slides are available to you there to have a look at. If you want to drop me an email, I'll happily send you over the slides. That's sglicer@harts-ltd.com. Feel free to drop me an email, and I will send them the slides back to you. It's on this PowerPoint presentation. Has anybody else got any questions they want to ask, or anybody else got any experiences that they've had in pricing psychology? Please feel free to unmute yourself, shout out, share your experiences with the rest of the group. We've got 25 people on this call, which is great. And I'd love to hear from anybody who's actually used any of these methods to try and increase their prices, increase their sales, to sell to the general public. Anybody want to jump in?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you for that presentation.
Yeah.
A lot of what you showed was B2C.
Yeah.
If we think about that, which of those, I'm going to use the word tactics, and I know some of them you can use kind of for online, but when you're kind of not selling online either to other businesses, like SaaS, you might sell online as a business and you can use some of those tactics. But when you're selling in proposals and the like, any kind of ideas how you can kind of incorporate some of the psychology with B2B?
Yeah, what I would look at is the one where you're pricing by instalments. That's something that we do on a regular basis. So if someone's paying us maybe £3,000 a year, rather than giving them a price of £3,000, we'd say, no, it's £250 a month, and we will do it that way. You may want to have a range of products. If you're looking at selling a range of products, you might have the same product but have a different price point for each of those products. And again, so Andy's asked a similar question. Any particular suggestions for pricing services rather than goods? When you're pricing services, you can have your gold, silver and bronze package. And the way you do that is you can price your silver package, which is the mid one. You can call them whatever you like, whether it's 3-star, 4-star or 5-star. But if you have your mid mid price being the most popular one, and you often see that if you go online and say subscribe to this is your price, that will be the one that will generate you the most profit, because you'll have the one on the top end which will be a super high price. Again, it's anchored against that price, and so for that range of services that you're offering with the tick list of all the services that is available to you, then people will tend to go for that price, which would tend to be the one that you set as the most profitable. But have a look through any of the slides. What I'll do is I've asked, I'll just type in my email address into here.
Thank you, Stephen, by the way. Thank you.
No problem. So that's my email address, and I'll be able to send you the slides if you just drop me an email, and I'll get the slides into you. Similar question when selling commodity goods. What sort of commodities do you mean, so that I can get a bit of a general idea? Simon, if you want to unmute yourself, feel free. Just need to click on the microphone button.
Technology is a wonderful thing when it works. We sell commodity materials. We're selling a plastic material which goes into making, ultimately ends up in construction, in housing construction. Yep. And so we're faced with a lot of competition with a similar product. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it's any sort of tips that you've got in the same sort of neck of the woods would be gratefully received, I think.
I think looking at that one, maybe anchoring your price against your competitors, to say our competitors are charging you this for this product, we're charging you this price. So you can say if they're charging a higher price and you've got a lower price, we can say, well, if we're anchoring our price, you can show your price against theirs. You can show what the competition are charging for the same price, and you can maybe offer, maybe show the other benefits that you could offer in relation to selling that commodity to them. So you can have maybe some add-on services that might well come with that as well.
Okay, all right, Steve, thanks for that.
Any other questions? Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Please make a note of the next webinar on the 3rd of February, and which will be able to book on from our website. Just go to the events page on our website and feel free to book on. So thanks again very much indeed for joining us, and I hope you have a great day.